Being authentic means you ain't gonna do the numbers, you ain't gonna have like the worldly success, but you're gonna have that inner freedom and that peace and that purpose.
One moment when I was authentic to myself and remembered that point, that's when I reaped the benefit. It's not money, it's not fame, it's that freedom.
Some of my music, people have told me, is difficult to listen to because it's almost too raw. I think the strength is being able to just lay it all out.
The transformation has not been pretty. In that process, I realized that God wanted me to remove my ego.
I really felt like my ego had the best of me at that time. I think, yeah, you gotta give yourself grace when you fall, and you might be in your ego, your pride. Give yourself that grace.
When you're old enough to go further than anyone else's in a transparent way, those are some of the greatest hits.
Introductions. Esther, start with you.
So, yes, my name is Esther Durin.
Hey, Esther.
The King's Queen. I'm the King's Queen.
Come on.
Eugy, yeah, man. I was born into a Christian household. My mom and dad are pastors.
Yes, so I'm unknown to you. This is the first time I've actually really touched into my faith, my religion.
Yeah, no, Guvna B, grew up in a Christian household. There's a lot of conversation about what it means to be religious. I would say I'm a man of faith.
I'm Dea, and I have been, I like to say, follower of Christ instead of Christian.
Real. Yeah, it's good to know everyone on the table already, but yeah, still shady, Christian, follower of Christ.
So, authenticity, perception, and identity. Let me ask you guys a question. What is your identity like? Is who you put out and who you are the same person?
I mean, I hope so. Yeah. I mean, there's layers though, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's definitely layers.
Yeah.
And that Christian, I think, is bred from just the fact that we're in a culture where people are constantly questioning how genuine can they be to the public eye. Because listen, in 2025, they're gonna catch you, bro. You can't even wipe your nose in public before they say you got something. You get me?
I hear it.
So, but yeah, I definitely think we should strive to be.
Yeah.
But the game that we all playing, it's not just public perception. It's our careers. You know what I mean? So it's a weighty one still.
Yeah, it's definitely a weighty one. I feel like, well, in the UK right now anyway, it's very, very easy to be blacklisted, blackballed for whatever. So a lot of people, I believe, are playing poker face. The person that they put out there may not be the best person. But there's a lot of insecurities, anomalies in a person that they've still got to fix up within, innit? I don't know, maybe that's me speaking for myself. But that's what I saw from the question.
I agree, man. I agree. I don't even think it's you speaking for yourself. I think a lot of people probably straddle that line. I think for me, like when I started doing music, I put a lot of my faith in my lyrics because that's what I was working out in my personal life. But I didn't put all the bad parts of me and the imperfect parts of me out in the music because I felt like I had to play up to this, you know, perfect Christian bro. And it wasn't just in the music, it was in my own life. I was struggling. I felt like I couldn't be honest and vulnerable about it. But I'm encouraged by, you know, what Jesus says about people like David. Like, he had his flaws, but he was a man after my heart. And when I think about that, I think actually like who I put out, that is me, but I might not put out every single detail.
I got you.
And I think sometimes that's wise, but a lot of the times, I think I did that because of the expectation that people might have of me. I think the moment you say you're a Christian, you can't do nothing wrong. Christians are meant to be the least judgmental, but the moment they find out, they're on you. Do you know what I mean? So it's a constant battle to make sure that, you know, I'm not living double life. And that's what I have to work out in my own life, but also in the music, work out what's like the correct pressure to take on and what's not. And I think other people's expectations of what we should be doing, they shouldn't be that important to us. It's just like you live in what you're talking about, and that's the most important thing, you know.
Especially when they're unrealistic. You know,
come on.
Bear the perceptions people put out. I think it's a part of the game to get picked out, like for people to see what you're doing and how you've done it, and they're looking for the flaws in it. Yeah, man. And I think we're all victims to it, and we end up playing. Like, to the original question, I don't even know anyone can fully say like they're being 100% authentic. Yeah. Authentically. Try to take a break and come back. Damn.
No, I love it.
I will say this, I don't know, you guys might be able to speak to this. I feel like women are more comfortable with being open and vulnerable than guys are, in general, not even just through music. Would you agree or not?
They're gonna like that.
I think it depends where you're at, like, in your journey in life. Like, when I first started doing music, I was definitely not telling the truth. I was definitely trying to build a persona that I felt like people were more interested in, that the algorithm would appreciate more, and that would sell when I first came out as an artist. But now, I really want to share my stories and I really want to share my experiences so people don't feel alone.
Very important.
So yeah, like, a lot of my songs now, I'm talking about depression, I'm talking about abuse, I'm talking about feeling alone, feeling isolated. Like, I'm someone that, known by many, but by myself most of the time. I'm someone that's isolated quite a lot, which I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but that can be dangerous. And I think I speak about that as well. Like, I try to bring my self-awareness into the music, whereas before it wasn't about being aware, it was about, is this trending? Let me talk about it. So I think it depends where you're at. What do you think, babe?
I almost have this obsession with being authentic because as a kid I wasn't allowed to talk about what was going on at home. I had to pretend everything was cool. So that idea of my parents saying, like, keep quiet about stuff, I still think about it. Like, even I did a testimony at church. My mum lives in Wales, but she watched it on live stream and she was horrified because...
Not horrified.
Literally, because I'm talking about the real. She was like, how dare you say that? Because, and my dad's 10 times worse with that. I did one interview and I talked about him and he saw it and he went crazy. How can you tell people this? So just because of that, I'm more inclined to be even more transparent. So that's why in music, I talk about stuff that I probably, not even that I shouldn't, but it's
taboo.
Everything's out there. The only thing that I'm sacred about, so to speak, is my marriage. I'll talk about relationship in general, but not to be airing out
the deep depths
all
of
of
their
that,
marriage.
because
It's sacred, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'll still discuss the main parts of marriage and whatever, and relationship and stuff.
You know where I feel the most authentic then? I think it's when I'm journaling. Like, when I write in my journal, that is when I feel the most safe. And usually when I need to really communicate something to, say, my partner, I'll read it from my journal. So I'll say, look, let me just read what I said. Because to be honest, I think it's a bit different from when I'm in the studio. I am professionally finding a way to communicate my authenticity to a stranger. Like, so even the way I'm saying it, it's not as raw and sacred because I know I have to pen it in a way. And that's why if I'm challenging myself, I'm like, is that really always authentic? Because I know this has to play to the crowd and the image behind it and the style of how I say it. Sometimes I think we have to dress it up. And then, I don't know, like, what do you guys for? Where is your most authentic self?
Do you know what? I was just gonna say, now I'm thinking about it, there's a song I released which, out of all the songs I've ever written, is my most streamed. But it's a song I wrote about, funnily enough, my marriage. But it's so, I went in, but it reached radio stations and playlists that none of my music has. And I think it's because I was so honest about being married to someone. I just said I'm sacred about my marriage, but clearly not on this song. But being married to someone, but looking at them and going, why did I marry you? In that split second, having that thought of why did I marry you? Or your family is crazy, or you don't blend in with me, I don't, like, having those thoughts. And I was very real and honest about it. And people could relate to that. Whereas I think it's hard to find music where people are that open and honest about stuff. And that's why we're here. We're only here one time.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to share. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is the first time in my life that I feel like I'm being who I am, and I'm not like doctoring anything.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like mold myself to fit this or fit that person or fit how this person sees me for the first time. And for me, it feels like freedom. Good. Because I feel like when I wake up, who I am is who I am. And I feel like there's strength in that. Why? Because you realize there's a lot of people that are probably struggling with their identity. Why? Because they feel like there's pressure on them to try and make themselves look a way that they're not. So I think the more people that are able to be themselves and show their weaknesses and what their downfalls are, I think it brings strength to so many other people. And I get loads of messages on Insta. I never received messages like this when I was doing, do you understand? What I thought looked good to people. Never received messages like this. But now, every day there's somebody in my DMs pouring their heart out, talking about, thank you for like availing yourself and being real, because I feel like I'm on this same journey and I'm battling with this and I'm battling with that, and I'm still battling with things now. So for me, I feel like for God to be able to use me the way he wants to use me, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I have to be honest. I'm not allowed to sugarcoat it, because if I do that, as I said earlier, it takes away from the glory of God.
I love what you said about freedom as well, because sometimes I think being authentic isn't going to be the most glamorous choice. I think it's great when it works out. Like, you doing your thing, I've seen it like over the last 18 months, 2 years, like it's gone crazy and you're being authentic, great. Most streamed song, like, great. But there's also going to be people that you got to take yourself off the pedestal. Being authentic means you ain't going to do the numbers. You ain't going to have like the worldly success, but you're going to have that inner freedom and that peace and that purpose.
And that's the most important thing. When we was at yours, you called us all to yours. Like, big up Shady, because there was one day he called all the rappers, the UK guys, to come and have a... I'm sorry, brother, man, but he did this. And I think it was very important, because that day, I actually got a chance to be honest with everybody about what the last 18 months has actually been like. So I went through a phase of severe brokenness. And I'm gonna say this loud because I feel like this is all part of the journey. Because I hit that reset button, I couldn't take any more bookings for my old music, and I don't own my old catalog. So the transformation has not been pretty. I went back to living in my sister's apartment because I had no money. But in that process, I realized what God was doing, because God wanted me to remove my ego, my pride, and die to self, as we were talking about before. And in that process, I realized, like, I'm not better than nobody. Do you understand? We're all on this earth as empty canvases. We come on this earth as empty canvases, and then we all go through whatever we're going through. So I'm not ashamed to say that I went through brokenness. I used to care about that, though. Never would I ever come and sit here with you guys and tell you, yo, my people was buying my shopping for me, but I'll tell you that straight, because my brothers were the ones that were holding me up, my aunties, my uncles, my mum and dad. They used to have to take me to Aldi and buy my food shopping for me. But in all of that, I found strength, because I realized that's why we have people around us and we have family and we have all of this, because we're supposed to be there for each other. So in me being able to be real like that, I know there's loads of other people that feel like, you know what? I'm gonna be straightforward about this. I see so many people in my church now, because of me being real and saying, yo, I went through this phase where I didn't have money and this, that. They feel more comfortable to come and talk to me. And if they need help, they can ask for help. Do you understand? Whereas before, I would have hidden it. And I would have sat there going through all of that, not knowing I can be free about that. So for me, I think there's freedom in being truthful, in being honest and tell people what you're going through. I'm not saying expose things that don't need to be exposed, but also don't hide the downtime, because that could be somebody's inspiration, somebody that needs to hear that their good days are gonna come. Do you understand? So I'm very raw, I'm very straightforward about it.
So obviously a lot of people know my situation of probably going to prison. I was in Belmarsh Category A prison for 11 months. Then I went to Old Bailey Court, fought my life for 7 weeks. As we know, I had Homer and B. feel like as an artist, I reaped a lot of the benefits, the fruits of it, you know? The lifestyle, the women, a lot of the glory I was enjoying until, remember you said it in the first stage, God sometimes will take that glory away from you. Yeah, that happened to me. So at that point when all them riches, all that fame, all that glory and accolades, I saw everyone turn on me on Twitter. Throw the key away, fuck this you. Sorry, Lord. But my point is, that was the point where I felt like, rah, this is the real state of me. It's no longer tea. Understand? So at that point, I had to be authentic to myself, innit? And all I had was that faith in Christianity, innit? But constant communications with my pastor, you know, he was a Brazilian man, but he gave me my book just before I was remanded and told me, brace yourself, you are gonna go to prison, but you are gonna come out. This altar, and come back when you're home. I just thought to myself, rah, is this really true? Cool, but I knew where my faith was, you know? A lot of the time, with my age group, a lot of us men, we have this ego, we have this pride that we don't like to show, that faith and that loyalty to our Lord, innit? One moment when I was authentic to myself and remembered that point, because when I was rapping before I didn't, that's when I reaped the benefit. It's not money, it's not fame, it's that freedom, you understand? And even though I knew and the Lord knew, like, man's innocent in the situation, like, for me, I learned that cool, you know? Sometimes this world will blind you and make you think, like, this lifestyle that's on earth is really yours. Nah. I feel like I got put into my purest point and remember myself, remembered who I am, my identity, the authenticity of me, the reality as well that I've come from. It wasn't easy, innit? I went through that same struggle, innit? And then obviously, this is the bit where it hit me now. I came out, I didn't go check my priest. Got distracted again, back into the cycle.
Yep.
Until 6 months later, one day, one random day like today, something just told me, you know what? Just go to church. Something wasn't sitting well with me and told me just go. You know, a lot was going on around me at the time as well, but I was always lucky to just dodge the obstacles. So I went. It was that pastor's last day.
Crazy.
Last day, announced to everyone, I'm leaving, I'm going to Brazil for good. Wow. Pride. Wanted to speak to him, he said no. Begged my auntie who worked there, let me speak to him. Got the word, said nah, trust him. Cool. Went to the back room. I was wanted to hear what he had to say. And he's told me, you see you, Daniel, don't let no one judge you for it. I know you for you. The Lord knows you for you. Be real to yourself. Don't let nobody tell you what you're doing is wrong. Regardless, just bring people the right way in your own time, innit? See, that for me, that stuck with me. Because a lot of people judge my music, judged what I stand for, but not understand that maybe I'm the light that's coming out of the darkness. You know? The same way there's always a devil in the room of light, maybe I'm that angel in that darkness, innit? So naturally, that authenticity of me keeping this humble energy, keeping this inner self, like, this is what's taking me to where I am now, innit? Beyond the music, innit? So I feel like it's very, very, very important. Just that life lesson I wanted to throw out there for people to actually understand. Like, it is very important to stay authentic to yourself. You get me?
That's real powerful, bro. That's real powerful, bro.
So, materialism, how do you feel towards it and how do you think it works with faith, your faith? What's your opinion?
Got me, I'm not gonna lie, man. I think it got me, man. I think because I started in church quite early, I always knew what my identity should be in. But I guess being somewhat successful in music you start off in this small church room, and then next thing, you might be at the mobiles. You're on a red carpet. I'm wearing maybe, I don't know what I was wearing. Like,
You know.
let's say a humble fit.
Humble.
And the man them comes, you know what I'm saying? Got the rollies, the APs, and all of a sudden you're looking sideways. You know what your identity should be in. But because you're around this stuff all the time, it starts to seep in. And I think I had that full sense of security that, like, I'm a Christian, man. I know this stuff. All of a sudden, I'm at a jeweler's getting a rollie. And I'm like, I'm not rich like that, bro.
Yeah.
So what am I doing? I'm driving a Q5. Why do I need, like, the Nissan Qashqai's calm, bro? Do you know what I mean? Kids can fit in the same way. And I think there's nothing wrong with enjoying nice things, but when I really had to sit down, and it wasn't me that sat down, I went through a difficult time in my marriage where I had to, separate from my wife, and things were looking real tough. And I'm looking around, Rolex is there. This don't mean nothing, man. I'd rather have my family together. And it starts to put things into perspective. And I think so often I've never been judgmental, but I've always looked at rappers that might be talking about the money and I think just because I'm not doing that, I'm good. But actually, I'm a human being, man, and I've got flaws and weaknesses. And I was humbled in a rough way. And I think, to what you were saying, I just need to make sure that when things get back to a good place, I don't fall back into it and I remember it. You know what I mean?
Thanks. Wow.
Oof. This table is deeper, man. This table is deeper, man. I mean, firstly, I think some of the topics we're touching on is definitely resonating with me. But like, just for a moment, just from another perspective, like, some of us are rapping offline, about this topic. And it's like, for me, it's money isn't the root of all evil, it's the love of it. So I think having an appetite for material things, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just where the appetite is coming from, you know what I mean? So I keep thinking about when I grabbed my Merc, and I always wanted a Mercedes. And I'm not even a crazy car fanatic, but I always wanted a Mercedes. And for a while, my humility made me think, no, I shouldn't get it. And it took me a while to realize that, nah, that was just me practicing something that was coming from the wrong place, because I thought, as a Christian, I'm not allowed to treat myself or have good things. I think whatever you rationalize it is how you rationalize it is fine. But I think the purpose of why I desired the Merc again was bigger than any of the things that I wanted, because I realized that in the area I was from, I started to have a growing burden that I wanted to inspire the young people that I see every single day. And I remember just thinking, bro, I always wanted to drive around the ends and just put youths in my car. Just be like, bro, what you did? And that was my motivation. The next day, I literally grabbed that car and I drilled down to the ends. And I saw how they reacted.
Yeah.
And I remember I was doing tolls for a period of time. I used to walk back, and I was still at my mum's bit. And I was walking back home, and I see these youths, and I just felt, I know how they are, bro. They need a bit of motivation. They don't want to just see me shady walking to them on toes. So that was my truth. And I grabbed the car and I put them in and I saw what they did. They played me their music, I drove them home, and all of a sudden I felt like the man. And I felt like a man from a healthy place, because I was actually putting on youths the way I wouldn't consider be put on when I was their age. So for me, when I think of materialism, I think there is an aspect of healthy motivation where I think young people need to see you doing well, because it's more than words for them, it's language. And for them, they need to have a proximity to something that they identify. And young people, they identify with success from a point of view of what you wear, and I'm not the crazy guy who's splashing out, but I think that's my purpose now. When I think of materialism, it is about what it does for other people from a healthy point of view. So what it does to motivate young people is an example. Another one is my girl. I love taking her on holiday. I love spoiling her and seeing what that does for them, you get me? I don't care for gifts, but I definitely find motivation in like doing nice things for people. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think...
Do you think we need to redefine success? Because what I love about your story is the reason why you wanted that was to show them another way. But then sometimes I also think with youths, if you're working in Foot Locker, you know what I'm saying, earning 20, 25 bags a year, and you're working hard, you're providing from your family, that's successful. If you're playing your tunes in a, I don't know, Nissan Micra or whatever, that's successful. But growing up, we only viewed it as like the Air Max 90s, the BM, the Merc, you get me? So do you think that needs to be redefined?
100. And when I say 100, yes, because as you're saying, it's what people are measuring success by. And why that needs to change is because it makes people go and do things unnecessarily to achieve what they think success looks like, when in actual fact, as you're rightfully saying, it's not about having a Beamer or wearing Gucci shoes and all that, which, as I'm saying it, that's not a bad thing. But that shouldn't be what people see as you being successful, because you're not running yourself into debt. You end up, and especially from young, I always believe that we should try to condition people to know that they don't need to rush themselves to what they think success looks like. I feel like there should be stages to it, and I feel like when you reach your 50s is when you should be, I'm not saying it's bad if you have a Mercs or something or an Audi wherever it is at 20, but I feel like there's so much pressure on people to do it young because other young people seem to be doing it, that things have been misconstrued, you know? So people are trying to achieve things that you were meant to be doing when you were like 40 or 50 and trying to do it at 20 years old. Do you understand? So...
And just remember they are young, it's in their capacity to think of what they see, you know what I mean? So I think I don't know if we have to, you know, spoil the process for them. Like, man likes what man likes. They should have the motivation to get it. But when you're a kid, you don't tell that kid how to manage that 10 bags.
No,
you put adults in front of them to help safeguard them to look after that 10 bags. You get me? They see my car, they can't drive yet. You know what I mean? And I'm at a place right now where I can make those decisions.
Yeah.
I think it's too much of a pressure on us if now we are starting to maybe change what we appreciate as adults now, because we know there's young people looking at us and they're like, they're gonna want to get it too from the wrong means. But come on, man.
Well, you are right.
We need to let them go through it, but hopefully in the perfect world anyways, it would have had errands and people to help them get there.
But then what about the ones that don't have?
This is what I'm saying. That's where mine goes. Yeah, and I think you're a good person to speak. Sorry, go on.
No.
But I just think it's intention. I think it's how you view money. It's your intention with it. And being in a private school, I saw, oh my gosh, like you'd get iPods in party bags, and as the normal thing, like the girls' first cars were Mercs, and they just barely turned 18, and that was just given to them. So I saw, from young, I just realised that for me, money wasn't it. I think the freedom it can bring, though, is a beautiful thing, what you can experience, what you can see, etc. But I think it's just your intention. And there's a book I read called Counterfeit Gods by Timothy Keller. And the way he breaks down money, and he literally starts off the book by talking about men, stockbrokers, bankers who've committed suicide, like they've got millions, but they're unhappy for whatever reason. And just talking about how if money's in place of God, that's when you've got the problem. So it goes back to intention. So I mean, I love money, but I've got a healthier relationship with it now than when I was younger. So I still want the backing. I'm joking.
I think for me, like, I've never really been materialistic. I think my motivation, even in coming into the space of music, was always about impact for me. Like, because I grew up in an area where there wasn't many opportunities, there wasn't many things given to young black girls like myself. And so I went to look for a lot of opportunities and a lot of things to get myself out there. So like, I'm really big on like the younger generation. Like, I used to mentor kids in my school. When I was in like year 11, I was mentoring the year 8s. Like, they knew that the youngers like this girl, like there's something about her, they're drawn to her. They're having behavioural problems. Let Esther, chat to them. And that was where I found my motivation. Like, I I still want to have a charity later on in life, helping young girls in underprivileged spaces and also young girls who have been like in abusive environments, because I grew up in quite an abusive environment. And I feel like that also is why I was running kind of like escapism, trying to look for something to express myself through. That's why I even started writing. And I started writing like in shoeboxes because I didn't want people to actually know what I was writing about. And I would put it in a shoebox, put it in my cupboard, hide it under the clothes. I don't want people to see. So it's like, I'm trying to find those girls and help those. So like my thing has never been materials. It's always been like a lot deeper, a lot darker, but there's been light at the end of it. And it's like helping others find that light. So yeah, it's more about empowering young women, like especially even like my music. Even when I wasn't doing faith-based, a lot of young girls would message me like, how did you start? Like, those are the things that make me feel like, yeah, I'm doing something great. Even when I wanted to start doing music, the scene, like all these artists doing it and impacting me is what made me want to do it. So yeah, I don't really relate to the material aspects of it as much.
Has being in the public eye forced you to show strength, even in times when you didn't feel like you had the strength?
I'm gonna put that to you, bro.
Yes and no. So every time I talk now, I always talk about old Eugy and new Eugy. So Eugy before I got saved, I would say, yeah, I would have just, for the sake of perception and not looking weak, I would have painted the picture that everything is cool, because I don't want people to know that I've had a moment of weakness or like I'm struggling with something or going through something. But again, as I said earlier, the new me realizes that there is strength in weakness. Do you understand? So I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of going through moments of weakness. I'm human. Do you understand? And I'm only human. No matter how strong I think I am, no matter what I think I have going for me, I am just a human being who, without the strength of the Lord or the love of the Lord, I would have folded 100 times over before. Do you understand? And because I feel like we are who we are, we kind of have a responsibility, whether we like it or not, to show people that we also have weaknesses. Do you understand? And to let people know it's actually okay to go through rough patches or go through moments of weakness, because I feel like the world tries to paint a picture that people are perfect. And I don't think that's real. And it makes things very hard for people, especially because they look up to people like us. They look up to who their favorite musicians are, favorite whoever it is, and look at them and feel like, oh, their life's ideal. So therefore it makes their way of living very unrealistic, because they feel like, why is it that they live like that and everything seems to be good for them and I don't get that? And that's just unnecessary pressure that people have to put on themselves because people are faking that they live a perfect life. And I as I said, I love humans so much that I don't want someone to look at me and think, Eugy always has it good, so therefore I have to force myself to be good all the time, even when I'm not good. I'd rather show the fact that, yo, Eugy has weaknesses too. I go through stuff because that might inspire somebody else to free a pressure off their shoulders or off their lives. So old Eugy would have painted the picture that everything was good. Me now, I'm gonna tell you exactly how it is. I'm gonna express my downfalls, as long as I don't think it's gonna be hazardous. Do you understand? Because you have to operate in wisdom. But I'm not scared to show my weakness now, because I feel like, especially on the path I'm on now, showing that weakness allows the room for when you get strong again. It provides hope for people.
Oh, that's true.
I see what you were saying about how like seeing people speaking, like showing like a perfect life and stuff. That really triggered me, like when I came into the Christian space, because I was like, why is everyone so happy all the time? Like, no one is happy all the time. No one is filled with joy all the time. Like, and I was like, if I'm gonna be in this space, like I need to bring some realism to this. Like I need to really, like no one's gonna take me seriously, especially coming from the secular space, if I'm acting like I'm all of a sudden always happy. Especially when I was outside in the world, masking and escaping with drugs and drinks, so all of a sudden now you're just happy all the time and you're sober. That's impossible. Like, how did you figure that out? Like in a year? And so that triggered me into like really like going back to the drawing board, because I used to write with a lot of writers I wrote with a lot of labels when I was like coming up. So I wasn't in my pen. I wasn't really getting into it after like I came out of the younger space. But when I was actually in it, I was like, yeah, I'm masking, gotta get in with these writers, or this person's written for this person, I gotta work with them. And so yeah, when I took a year out of music and I was working for like PPL and PRS, I worked in the corporate side of music. Specifically with PPL, I realized like the writers that were like getting the most revenue were the ones that were really speaking truth. Like the Ed Sheerans, the Elton John, the Adeles. Again, that's not my demographic, but they speak about some really deep things, and there's a lot of depth to a lot of their music, whereas a lot of these artists that we think are doing well, when the PPL check rolls over, they're not really making that much, like if you translate it to numbers. And so I was like, it's not just about numbers, but I was like, if I'm gonna do this and do this well, I need to, with the knowledge I have, take wisdom and approach it properly. And in that year, I really like went in like just writing, journaling. I started journaling a lot. Like I started doing this SOAP method. It's called scripture, observation, application, and prayer. So you get a scripture, you write it out, you write from your perspective how you observe it, then you apply it to something that you're going through in your life, and then you put a prayer point. And I would do that every single day. And that just allowed, like what you were saying, allowed me to understand myself and my truest self more. And so I just started doing that every time I made a song. And yeah, man, the pen is penning now.
Come on.
We thank God, and it's penning for God.
Amen.
So yeah, I'm grateful.
I think musically speaking, when we think about strength and weakness, I think it's important to kind of distinguish the identities between the two. I think when I think of strength in my music, I think of bravery, being bold, fearless, to say things that sometimes can be countercultural. So like artists like Adele, for instance, that might write music from a place of brokenness or heartbreak. Those are some of where we find the greatest hits. You know what I mean? When you're bold enough to go ahead further than anyone else is in a transparent way. But when I think of weakness, I think of that moment when you're writing and then you kind of stop and you think, oh, can I say that? I think that's that moment.
Should I say that?
Should I say that? Can I say that? And then you start rationalizing all the reasons why you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And for me personally, that's where I've met the fear of man. Something that I think has always been a barrier to the greatest things that God wants to do with me as an artist. So yeah, I think for me, like, am I afraid to be weak? I think that's where real strength is.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm keen for you to touch on that as well, bro. Just like in terms of for you, like what is strength or what is weakness in the industry that you're navigating? Like how would you distinguish between the two?
I mean, for me, I completely agree with both of you. Like, weakness does build into strength. But for me and my personal experience in the industry that I'm in, fortunately, it's very dog. And that weakness will get you buried. You know what I'm saying? Real quick. Look, sunglasses, for example, I don't like people noticing my feelings, my emotions through the eyes. You know? But the eyes will show, like, what a man's really been through in it. But in the type of environment that I'm in, that weakness can be manipulated against you, whether that be the A&Rs or the people that help around the music, or rivalries within my competitors of musicians as well, like, or any other people that obviously you would know from your experience in music that try and mess us up along the journey, innit? You get me? So people are very, I don't know, you gotta have a cold shoulder, brave face. At the same time, you can't trust anybody because everybody has hidden intentions.
So how do you grasp strength in that?
How do I grasp strength in that?
Yeah.
By rising above all the negativity. So for me, like, every day there's obstacles. Every day. Like, you know, like, for example, some people don't like the success, you know? And you always hear whispers, you always hear envious energy, you know, but keeping a blind eye towards it and then focusing on the growth, the projection moving forward, that to me is my way of showing strength in it, than letting that weakness get to me. You know what I'm saying? letting it trip up my journey or my trajectory musically. I'm saying 'cause a lot of people I know from my world have made their mistakes would like to take this position. You know what I'm saying? So
I know your pen has taken you to very vulnerable places as well, in terms of sharing some of the challenges you've navigated, and you've spoken about some of that as well. How do you like rationalize between strength and weakness? And
I don't really have a problem with being vulnerable. In fact, some of my music people have told me is difficult to listen to because it's almost too raw. It's too much, yeah. But so I don't really have a problem because I feel like I think the weakness is not being able to be forthcoming. I think the strength is being able to just lay it all out. But one time where I was super fake is when I gave birth and I was filming for a Sony commercial like 2 weeks after I gave birth. And I remember filming myself on the way to the Sony commercial, and I was acting like I hadn't just given birth. I was acting like everything was cool. And I remember crying before the Sony commercial, filming for it, and crying afterwards, going back, breastfeeding, then filming and doing studio and whatever. But I was acting on Instagram like I had that perfect balance of motherhood and studio and all of that. But actually, it was the hardest struggle to balance. And because of the industry and my manager, I thought being a mother was a weakness. So I never wanted to admit that actually I've literally been awake all night and I'm blessed my husband can stay home and I can go and film, but I actually just want to be at home with my child kind of thing. So I struggled, and then after I said, no, F this, man, I'm just gonna have to be real, I can't. So when I now post, either way, whether it's personal stuff, I'll just keep it real instead of trying to pretend like I haven't got a child. I got a whole child at home.
And I mean, there's probably so many reasons that all of us wrestle with that whole need to not show everything in the public eye. One of them that comes to my mind is just ego, right? And I can't lie, one of the first times I saw you, Gov, where I was just like, nah, this guy, he's one, the real deal, but two, like strength, was when we were at an award show, and I saw you were helping out with some of the production. So behind the scenes, this is an award-winning musician himself, but I'm seeing him with a lanyard on, and you're greeting other guests, and I was just like, what are you doing? What are you doing there? And you were just serving, bro, and like, talk to me about that, like your experience of like ego and putting that to the side and just showing like straight, like.
Yeah, I think that situation, that was like a Christian award show. And I don't know, I just got a big passion for artists that are talking about this stuff. And it was just my way of kind of giving back. But I battled ego all my life, really, man. And I think the root of it is I wasn't really a secure kid. I was always that one that was trying to fit in. Like, I'm not I wasn't on the roads, but I was around it. And I wasn't, do you know what I mean? Like the coolest of guys in school. So when I found music and it started to validate me, it's almost like it became an idol, do you know what I'm saying? And there's probably two main situations I've been through that come to mind when I've had to battle ego. The first was when my dad passed, and this was like 2017, and it was a massive thing for me. But then I thought, because I've been this guy that's always like mad positive, I've put out music saying like, whatever you're going through, you gotta trust. I didn't allow myself to properly grieve, innit? Because I was like, nah, people view me a certain way and I have to, you know, uphold this kind of bravado. And it just resulted in me breaking down like 3 months later, and I had to grieve. And grieving's hard, innit? But I think I made it harder for myself by not putting my ego to the side. But I had grace for myself because it wasn't my fault that happened. And then I guess the second time is just going through my divorce. Like, recently, that's been a mad one for my ego, because I know how people view me as this like perfect guy, almost like the poster boy for Christian rap in a way in this country. And the weakness is my imperfection. And my ego doesn't want to let people know that I'm imperfect. But I'm a human being, and you know, the Bible says, when I'm weak, he is strong.
Yep.
And so it's about not relying on my own strength and almost embracing my imperfection. Do you know what I'm saying? And just saying, God, like, this is me, regardless of what people think. I know your plan for me is still alive and breathing, and there's more to life. So there's that thing of holding my licks, taking responsibility, do you know what I'm saying? But also not giving up. But yeah, ego is something I battle every day, bro.
Every day.
It's crazy because it's like, there's a saying where you have to say like, ego is like the giant, like in the mirror, like seeing yourself in the mirror, seeing a giant, but even seeing you speak, it's like there's an even greater giant behind ego, which is something that's so more powerful and people can draw from and look to. You know what I mean? That ego seems, we think we're so big in our eyes, but when you can beat that Goliath, and it's like, bro,
different.
Look how great you can truly be when you push ego to the side. You know what I mean? And I don't know if anyone wants to just speak into that, like where they've needed to push it to the side and they found something even bigger as a turn up.
I think for me, in 2020, I went on like this TV show and I ended up being in a girl group. I got put in a girl group by Little Mix. And I was, in my head, the main character of my life before that point. So, and I always said I'd never be in a girl group. I'd never, what? No, that can never be me. But at the time, COVID had just hit. And at the time, my management, everything was kind of falling apart. And this opportunity came and I was like, this is a good opportunity for me. Like, maybe I should take it. I don't know when the next big opportunity is gonna come. Took it, joined the group, but my ego got in the way of it. And I've actually never spoken about this. And I'm sure the girls in the group are gonna probably be shocked they see me speak about this, but I wanted to be the main character. I wanted to be the Beyonce of the group. And at the time, I didn't think that's what it was. I just thought I was better. That's just the truth. And I wasn't, because there was a lot of talented girls in that group and they're all doing amazing things right now. But at the time, I was just like, I need to be at the front, I need to be in the middle. I didn't say these things, but my actions, you know, you've been saying not everything's words. My actions, my demeanor, my responses, how I'd react to different things. And long story short, like, once the show had ended, we'd obviously been offered a contract to like, keep being in a group and stuff. And like, we'd be in sessions and stuff, and we'd make songs together, and I'd want all the main parts, but again, I wouldn't say anything. But there was this one song, because at the time we were still making individual music and writing for other people. And I wrote this song and it was called No Pressure. It was a banging song, beautiful song, but I wanted it to myself. And I didn't want to give it away. At the time, the management that we had was like, this song is too hard, we need it for the group. I was like, no. Me and him were battling this for at least a whole month. All of a sudden, I started getting messages from the other girls. Oh my gosh, I've got ideas for the music video. I said, huh? You've got ideas for the music video? This is my song. Like, I became very territorial over it. I was like, this is for me. This blessing's for me. This banger's for me. It's not for anyone. And I was just me. And I think about that song all the time. And I think about how great that could have been. But that situation was the demise of that group. That group broke up because of that song. I've never taken ownership or accountability for this publicly, but I really felt like my ego had the best of me at that time. And when I came out of that group, my whole career crumbled. Everything that I thought was so great before went down. Losing followers, wasn't getting brand deals, wasn't getting opportunities. All the things I thought made me so special and so big and so great were nowhere to be seen. And then I started seeing other people that were in the group get those things. And I was jealous, I'll be real. I was envious of the situation, because I just thought, I swear I'm better. Like, what do you mean? I've been doing this the longest. Like, what do you mean? And my ego really took the lead. And looking back on it now, I wish I didn't handle it that way. Like, the group might have still maybe disbanded, but I wish it wasn't in my hands. And I wish I was probably closer to God in that time. I wish I seeked his face a bit more. And I wish I was just humble. Like, sit down, like, relax.
One thing that will test your ego is definitely the songwriting. I think that's a sick example.
It was so triggering, and I think about that song every other week.
It's like when you're writing a song and it's a bang.
It's like, no, this is me.
That's not even
It's not even for you. And I wasn't trying to hear that. There was even a point that even came back to me a year later. They were like, you know, it didn't work out. Let's just run it. No. It's still my song. Did I release the song? I'm not even a secular artist anymore. So it ended up not even making sense for me to ever even release So yeah, I definitely got humbled from that, and
don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
No, definitely,
'cause, like,
definitely.
man's been in similar situations myself.
Yeah.
Questioning myself, like,
why did you do that?
why did you do that? But you don't even know the toxic effect that could have seeped through that situation, that group situation. Would you have really and truly got the fruits out of your labor from that situation?
Maybe
if
not,
you went through that toxicity. But one thing you still have is that power, that talent.
And you know, another thing I deeped as well is I never knew I was going to be a gospel artist. At the time, I was a secular artist. So if I had released that song and it did very well,
You might not have.
it would be problematic for me today.
There you go.
So it worked out in my favour.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
Yeah, but at the time, like I said, I never knew I was going to be a gospel artist. So it did work out, but yeah, grace, innit? Yeah. With that experience I've just shared with you guys, that's obviously my experience, but do you guys think that ego can be positive, or do you think ego is always a negative thing?
Depends where it comes from. I think it can obviously be a negative thing because it's pride.
Yeah.
It's thinking you're more important than you actually are. But I think I love this line in the Psalm. I think it's Psalm 3. David's talking about God like lifting his head. He's like, be the lifter of my head. And I think in my situation where there's so much like guilt and shame attached to my mistakes and my imperfections and addiction and all that kind of stuff, you start to walk with your head down, innit? Thinking you're so not worthy. But actually, if you're repentant and you're forgiven, God wants you to be shameless. I like that lifter of my head verse because it's almost like a healthy ego. I'm not walking in here thinking I'm bad or I'm the man, but I'm walking in here knowing that I'm forgiven and I'm a follower of Jesus. And I think in that sense, it's healthy. It's a healthy thing.
I got a good friend that says every artist has an ego. It's just how you manage it. And I think that's always helped me to know that, oh yeah, man, okay, Carl, let's be honest, like, ego's real. Like,
Very
you can't be in front of thousands of people and say shit, sit out and then not have an ego. I need to have peace in my head to know, okay, you got an ego. How are you gonna manage it? And I think putting that characteristics in a box and dictating when it needs to come out is important. Because, bro, try and know if you're in certain conversations, in certain meetings, certain shoots, if you don't have that stardom, you're gonna get eaten alive. I feel like you need to know how to manage it and use it for your advantage, but don't let it take over. That's my 2 pence.
I don't idolize it, basically.
You know, I've seen artists lose control with their ego. It's got to their head. And then that's when it looks peak.
Very peak.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and we get it wrong sometimes. I definitely have. Like, I've kicked up a fuss on things that I didn't need to keep doing. But I think knowing that, okay, I have it, well, how do I use it less in certain environments is how I've dealt with it. So I think it can be used as a good thing.
As much as I have forgiven myself for the whole experience I shared, like sharing it publicly for the first time here definitely made me feel like I needed to be a bit less hard on myself. Because I beat myself up about that for a very long time. For a very, 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 very long time. Like, I probably only got over it last year and happened in 2020. So I think, you got to give yourself grace when you fall. And you might be in your ego, your pride. Give yourself that grace. So thanks, guys, for the encouragement.
Anyone else, final thoughts?
Just off the back of that, how much the enemy wants things to be kept in the darkness so that he can hold it over your head.
Exactly.
But when you speak it out and you're vulnerable, it helps to set you free.
That's it.
Some more conversations like this need to happen, you get me, Carl? I didn't even come here thinking I'll be sharing.
Can you imagine?
But my man's being vulnerable, you're sharing the real, it just comes out, you get me?
Plus we're in the church.
You gotta keep it real, man. Gotta keep it real,
God is watching us and can't be lying in the church.
As I was saying, it's like, don't minimize, don't try to pretty things up, because when you do that, you take away from the glory of God. And always have that in your mind. It's like, allow people to see what God has done and what God is doing for you. Because when you don't allow them to do it, how else is your testimony could be the reason why somebody else comes to the Lord. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So never be ashamed, man. Like, don't, remove that. There's nothing I can be embarrassed about because I know I have Jesus. Do you understand? There's nothing. In my life now, there's nothing. And I'm free, man. So.
Well, what I've taken from today, most importantly, for me anyway, is that identity, authenticity, and that honesty to your religion, leading to what you said. I don't even know what my testimony is for other people, but maybe a story like this on this platform might just make some people think twice.
I'm telling you, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you.
There's nothing greater than that, man.
Nothing greater than that, regardless, innit? We ain't even done no music in this table right now.
They're not ready for that collab.
Get me.
I know a rapper that once said, whether on or off the stage and when the music doesn't play, there's always light in the shade.
Shady!